Greetings to all the members of the Fragrance Fraternity, the best damn smelling fraternity in the world. Hopefully you're out there smelling absolutely fantastic today, letting everybody know around you just how good you smell. We're talking clones today. There's so many of them coming out lately, just kind of non-stop clone apocalypse. We're living in a clone apocalypse era, guys. So with all these clones that are coming out, it's kind of hard to know which ones are good. So these are 10 clones that don't suck. Clones I can really get behind here at the fraternity. I think you're going to enjoy them as well. Let's get started here with Missoni Wave. Man, a fragrance that I just always find myself coming back to. One of my favorite affordable fragrances. If you're just getting into the game, this is a must try. It really is. It's kind of similar to Chanel Allure Homme Sport. A little bit less creamy. Doesn't really have that tonka bean heft that has. This goes more of an aquatic direction. Also a little similar to Versace Pour Homme. I actually prefer this one because Versace Pour Homme has a little bit of this lemony smell going on here, where this one is a little bit more bergamot focused, a little bit more focused on the aquatic. So I really enjoy it. Fantastic value here. Magnetic cap, beautiful bottle, nice thick glass. A lot of value here. Usually you can get this under $50. That's kind of the price point that you'd be looking at for a Missoni Wave. So a beautiful fragrance to kick things off. The next one up here, can't make an affordable list without including at least one Banana Republic. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I'm a fan of these fragrances. This is Midnight Hour from Banana Republic. It's part of their reserve line, whatever that means. Maybe a little bit slightly even more higher quality as far as the oils go. But long story short, this is similar to Mind Game's Blockade, which is a take on Creed Aventus on that scent profile, but more mango focused, which makes it the special thing. Mango has been a fruity note that's kind of become more popular lately, and it really works. I enjoy it quite a lot, and most people around me let me know that they enjoy mango fragrances whenever I wear them. They let me know as well. So you're probably going to get the same kind of positive reaction from it. This is very close to Blockade. I've only smelled Blockade once, so I've never done a true side-by-side, just keeping it real with you guys. But I enjoy what's going on here. I'm not the biggest Aventus guy personally, but I do get down with this one. When you're talking, $25 for this fragrance, and you want to get really close to like a $350 fragrance, same perfumer here, you're going to be set with Banana Republic's Midnight Hour. Right, same perfumer, went for the same kind of idea, just used a little bit more affordable ingredients. So it's really as close as you can get when you're using the exact same perfumer. Really can't get closer than that. Banana Republic's Midnight Hour. Check that one out. It's at Burlington. I believe that's where I got my bottle. It was like $25. All right, next one up for all my iris lovers out there while it is still cold outside. There's been a lot of conversation about the new Dior Homme Parfum and mainly how it doesn't smell like the old version. And that old version is getting really hard to find and getting really expensive. But a solid alternative is Gary's Den Le Parfum. You can see I've used a decent amount of this. I really do enjoy it. I'm a big iris kind of designer iris. I love good designer iris fragrance. This takes that Dior Homme Parfum scent profile, and it's kind of like a woodier and spicier take on it, almost as if it's its own flanker. So if you're into those powdery scents, this is definitely one you want to check out. I think they did a really great job here. And I just enjoy wearing this one whenever I want to just kind of chill out or want something a little bit on the cozier side of things. This really fits that mood. Gary's Den Le Parfum, a fantastic alternative to the now discontinued and hard to find Dior Homme Parfum 2017, I believe, was the year that it came out. All right, next up is back to fresh land here. This is John Lowe Immortal from Maison Alhambra, a beautiful inspiration of Louis Vuitton L'Immensité. And although not that, like, it's not one-to-one with it, it does kind of have its own twist, mainly more on Brox in here, and obviously the quality is going to be a little bit lower. But I love this fragrance. I actually wore it this week. I wear it quite often, and it has solid performance for me. I get great longevity out of it. It is easy to go nose blind to this, but just be aware of that because it is that strong. At least this bottle is. I got it right when it came out. I think they may have changed the name as well for some legal issue. I think it may be actually called John Lowe Fresh now. You may look into that, but John Lowe Immortal is a ginger and kind of citrusy fragrance with a nice Ambroxan base. Not the most complex, intricate thing in the world, but if you just want to smell fresh, clean, and have a nice kind of ginger kick, if you enjoy eating ginger when you're out at sushi or you like ginger tea, I think you're going to really enjoy this fragrance. I really do, and it's got just enough spice to it where it has some character and it has its own kind of identity, which I really enjoy. So John Lowe Immortal, a very solid alternative to L'Immensité from Louis Vuitton. You got to be cool with Embroxen though, because there is a lot of it in here. It is no joke, no shortage of that. All right, keeping it with the Lattafa house here. This is Vintage Radio from Lattafa, which is similar to Initio's Paragon. A much sweeter fragrance than anything I've talked about so far. Definitely the sweetest of the bunch. You're going to get a lot of this plum fruity sweetness going on. You're going to also get a lot of this creamy sandalwood. So it does go, a slightly more gourmand direction, but I wouldn't call it a gourmand because it doesn't really remind me of something edible, right? It doesn't have that food-like comparison to it. Just very sweet and creamy, really. Definitely a unisex fragrance. You got to be into the sweet stuff. I really like this one. It's got this Palo Santo woodiness that kind of has its own kind of unique flair with the woodiness in the Palo Santo. It's not something that's used all the time. So really the sandalwood, the Palo Santo, and the plum are the main things that I'm picking up here. Kind of powdery at the same time, creamy, and very much a big beast of performance for me, at least. It's monstrous. So let me know what you guys think about Vintage Radio. Kind of a tacky bottle, but I enjoy this fragrance. Maybe a little bit more divisive. You got to be into the sweet, woody type of scents to enjoy this one. All right, next up, we have Montblanc Legend Spirit, another white bottle here. Similar to Invictus Aqua, a very youthful, kind of bubblegum aquatic, fresh and sweet type fragrance. You're going to get, a good amount of these citruses working in here, and you're going to get a more youthful scent profile overall, something that you could wear to school or work, and overall just a compliment beast, really. Everybody loves the way that this one smells. It's done wonders for me. I'm sure for a lot of other people out there. This is a pretty known fragrance. Doesn't really smell like Legend. It kind of goes its own direction, but clearly inspired from Invictus Aqua. And yeah, if you don't have the money for Invictus Aqua, or you're kind of on a budget, this will get you right in that wheelhouse. And I've worn this plenty before. I ended up picking up Invictus Aqua and really enjoyed it. So I think you will too. Legend Spirit from Montblanc. Next up, we have what I consider to be my favorite. If I'm looking into a clone of anything, I always check this brand first because I think they have the best quality and also closeness. The only thing is they're a little bit more expensive, but such is life. You get what you pay for. They do run discounts throughout the year. I'm not associated with them in any means. I just like their products, so I'm talking about them. But Alexandria is the house that I'm talking about here. This is Ferocity. To be honest, there are a lot of different Alexandrias that I could have included. I could have made this video just all Alexandrias. I do have the most clones from them out of anybody. Like I said, I was a fan, but this one is special because I've searched for a long time to kind of capture that Abercrombie store smell of the early 2000s. If you guys are, late time millennials, like I'm the very last of the millennials, but the early 2000s were very nostalgic for having this smell of the Abercrombie store. You could smell the store before you got to it. You just knew that they had an Abercrombie store because you could smell it as you're approaching it. And there's some very distinct scent memories tied to that for me and for a lot of people out there. And a lot of guys like the scent profile even to this day. So if you want something that kind of recaptures that old school vibe of the stores, because the newer formulations of Fierce are a little bit watered down, a little bit weaker. But this really brings back those memories, and I enjoy wearing it every single time. You may really like the scent profile too. It's kind of like a modernized Fougere, I guess. But Ferocity is a stunner for me, for a lot of other guys out there. It's popular for good reason. Anything that Fierce profile is, and it's a big love of mine. But Ferocity from Alexandria is going to be your best alternative for vintage Fierce. All right, next one, more gourmand. This one is true gourmand. This is Kay Ali's Yum Gelato Pistachio. It is inspired by Kay Ali's Yum Gelato Pistachio. That's what I said. I messed that up. It's Khair Pistachio. This one's called Khair Pistachio. The real thing is Yum Gelato Pistachio. All right. If you're not completely confused, Khair Pistachio. All right. This one is more unisex. So if you're into the manly man scents, this is not going to be for you. This is more of a playful, kind of fun, going out, casual type fragrance. Very sweet. Again, does have this pistachio gelato ice cream smell to it. It's got this mintiness to it. And it's got a nice creaminess that you would associate with an ice cream, right? Kind of vanillic sweetness going on. I enjoy the take on this one. I have tried the real one. I do have a 10 ml of the real one, and I've done side by sides. There's a little bit more of a floral component in the real one. It does lean a little bit more feminine, where I find this cologne to be unisex because it adds this mintiness to it that the real one doesn't necessarily have. I enjoy the mintiness of this one though. It's a great composition. Probably my favorite fragrance from Paris Corner, Khair Pistachio. Good stuff if you want something a little bit more fun, a little bit more casual, something that lasts a really long time. If you want to smell like a snack, this is gonna have you right. People love this stuff. All right, 2 more guys. So the next one up, if you like dates as a fruit, also going on dates, you could wear this, but I'm talking about the fruit, the date fruit. This is Fragrance World's the one and only Moonlit Night. Quite a name, I know. These long names. When someone asks you in the street what you're wearing, you gotta, come up with these names. It's it's a little weird sometimes. Anyway, back on topic here. It's cloning the Dolce & Gabbana, the one luminous night. So this is the one Moonlit Night. All right, we got that out of the way. You're gonna get a very ambery type fragrance here, a little bit of kind of, obviously the sweetness from the dates, but you get a little bit of like the spiciness going on here underneath as well. Mainly it's the amber that really is the star of the show here. And it smells like an upscale type of a fragrance. Smells like something a little bit more dressed up, certainly a more evening time, cold weather appropriate type scent. I don't really want to be wearing something like this in the dead heat of summer. It's going to be choking people out. But at the time I'm filming this, as we are in the dead of winter and very cold for most people around the country, this is going to be a scent profile that if you enjoy, you might want to work into your rotation. It is very difficult to find the original one. It's long discontinued, very, very expensive, and that's when these cologne fragrances offer their most value. You can get something like this for $35. I've done the side-by-side. This is closer to the real thing as it dries down a little bit. It really amps up those dates. It kind of features that because I think people are looking for that when they try this. They want to smell those dates, which is my favorite part of the real one. So I enjoy the blend here. Obviously, the quality is always going to be lower with the cologne, always. But the fact is that this is wearable. This is a solid alternative, and all of these colognes are ones that I actually wear. I've gone through my collection. I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff over the, as your collection grows, it's just natural to continue to refine and get rid of stuff that you don't wear. But all of these colognes have made it through the trials of, getting rid of stuff. So, because I actually legitimately enjoy wearing them and the way they smell. So I'll only give you guys the real stuff. Here we go. The good stuff. Real or not. This is a clone after all. Anyway, Moonlit Night. Last fragrance. Appreciate you guys sticking through my awkwardness. It's the way I am. What can I tell you? All right, this is Desert Angel Blue Night. This is inspired by Killian's Blue Moon Ginger Dash. Tried this version. I've tried the Paris Corner version. I prefer this one. I think the Paris Corner may be slightly closer because this one is missing a kind of green aspect that the real one does have and that the Moscow Mule from Paris Corner emulates better. But I just prefer the blend on this one because there's a little bit more of an Ambroxan base going on here. This one leans a little bit more blue, where the Paris Corner one leans a little bit more green and is overall maybe a little bit more accurate. I just think the quality on this one's a little bit higher, and I enjoy the kind of ramped up ginger component and the ramped up Ambroxan component that this one adds. Very much an effervescent, kind of summery, breezy fragrance here, and the real one is so expensive for what it is, just to tell you guys the truth. It's like a $250 fragrance, and the scent profile is not blowing my mind or anything. So I think for the money and the value, you're really solid going with this. This is kind of a newer acquisition. I've been really enjoying it though. Desert Angel Blue Night is the name of this one. And I'll give you guys a bonus one because I actually wanted to include this one in here, but I just didn't include it for whatever reason. I forgot. I was just going through and I was so caught up, so excited about all these different clones that I got. So I actually wanted to include this one. So I'll give you a little bit of a bonus here. This is from the Dua brand. This is Mystical Amulet of Blue. If you're looking at an alternative for Blue Talisman from Ex Nihilo, it's kind of become a very popular fragrance right now. I've tried the real one and I've worn this one a good amount. I think this one is a solid alternative to the point where I don't need the real one. The wearing experience is similar. You're going to get a more amped up version with Dua. Obviously they are all extrait de parfum, so it's a more intense wearing experience. But that you know, makes the performance better. And if you really like beast mode stuff, I know a lot of you guys performance is really important. Duo will have you covered for the next several days if you spray it on your clothes. Really very close. You get that pear fruitiness, you get that blue shower gel kind of smell, but really the pear fruitiness is what is the star of the show of this particular scent profile. The pear mixing with citrus are the main things that are going on here. Yeah, I like this one a lot, and I'm gonna just stick with it. I think you guys are gonna find it. It's excellent as well. So, what is it called? Mystical Amulet of Blue from Dua as a solid alternative to Blue Talisman, which I have tried and worn and done the whole due diligence of comparison. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's videos. Let me know a cologne fragrance that you've been enjoying lately. I'd love to hear about it. But otherwise, I'll catch you next time at the Fragrance Fraternity. Keep smelling great out there. Keep bringing out that positivity into the world. We need as much of it as we can get. And yeah, that's it. Have a good one, guys. Take care.